Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of the Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 12, Episode 11, Breast Intentions. We start off with Kelly and Michael, and Kelly's getting a cast taken of her current breasts because she's having breast reduction surgery. I'm still not sure what the idea was, why she wanted a mold of what they used to look like, or what she plans on doing with that mold, but Michael suggests that they do it out on the balcony because the plaster will dry faster. This is not an isolated area they live in. In fact, we see this neighbor come out on her balcony a little while later. So Kelly's out there topless for all her neighbors to see. The part of this scene that shocked me the most, she didn't yell and scream at Michael. Michael was the one applying the plaster, and she wasn't micromanaging it. As weird and sort of awkward as this scene was for the viewer at home, I actually felt the most comfortable I've ever felt when viewing a scene with those two. Like maybe their marriage isn't doomed. Then we see Tamra and Lydia having coffee together. And of course Lydia, the friendship whisperer, brings up Vicki's party, and she said, "How you doing? Because I've been seeing stuff on the internet all over about Eddie." Now it's morphed into he was found in bed with some man. So yeah, I don't exactly know what's going on with Lydia. I'm starting to think Lydia is just not so much get friends together as much as get in everybody's business. And Tamra says, I don't even talk to those people, but like Ricky and Gretchen, like those people are out to get me. Ricky, I guess, had already threatened Tamra that he was going to destroy her. And Lydia's got that look on her face like she's very concerned. Those little like doe eyes and, oh yeah, I don't know if I'm buying it or not. Okay, we see Peggy and Deco in the doctor's office, and they bring Coco. He's cute. Coco's their 9-year-old son, and I think he's actually kind of adorable. So Peggy's having a doctor's appointment. My investigative work will take me to concentrate heavily on the Peggy scenes for slip-ups, things that don't seem copacetic to me. They're talking about this reconstructive surgery, and she said, "You're going to take fat from back here," and he said, "Yeah, we're going to take fat from the back to put in." And Deco said, "I told her we were going to take fat from here." And she goes, "I told you there's nothing up there." And she had this little smirk of a smile, like she knows exactly what she's doing. And I guess we're supposed to think, oh, isn't she adorable? There's nothing upstairs. This is all part of the Peggy persona. The lovable but empty-headed immigrant. I don't understand phrases. I think you understand a lot more than you are letting on to, Miss Peggy. Then we have our comic relief scene with Shannon and Archie. Archie wants to go swimming, but he shakes his fur all over her while she is on the phone with the executives for her new restaurant. And so she's acting all discombobulated and bumbling, and she can't figure out how Wi-Fi works or if it works. And we're supposed to believe that Shannon is so flustered and frustrated she doesn't know what's going on, and she's on the phone and she's trying to pull up an email, and Archie shakes his wet fur all over her, and Shannon's and scene. Okay, I think Shannon and Peggy need to do a reboot of I Love Lucy because they both seem like they're auditioning right now. Then we have Kelly's big like volleyball picnic party, I don't know, to celebrate her breast reduction? Is that what's happening? Is that where we're at now? We celebrate when people get a breast reduction? I guess. So we start off with a big awkward beach volleyball scene where Tamra and Vicki end up on the same team and they're weird about going near each other. And Shannon's trying to be funny by being overly aggressive and trash talking. Peggy and Deco are there, and you know what? Does Peggy know how to play volleyball? I mean, I guess it's not an American thing. But I mean, you know, the girl doesn't even know about Santa Claus. So who knows what she knows. So the party has moved back to Kelly's house, and she's got like, everything is boobs themed. She's got a cake that's boobs, and the drink is a slippery nipple. I don't know. Boob cupcakes. And Tamra is standing at the bar with Peggy and Deco, and Peggy said something, and Deco tried to finish her sentence, and she goes, no. So Deco hands Peggy a drink, and he said, here, babe, do you like it? And she goes, I do, but it's, too... And he goes, strong? No. And Tamra goes, she disagrees with everything. And Deco goes, that's just her personality. And Tamra goes, oh, no, you gotta agree sometimes. And Peggy goes, okay, I agree. And at the exact same time, Tamra and Peggy say, I'll agree to disagree. They laugh because they said it simultaneously. Well, well, well. Look who knows American phrases. I think every time she slips up and uses an American phrase correctly, I'm going to keep track of it in a book. I see you, Peggy. The rest of this episode was boring and irritating to me. One thing I will say for Peggy is I'm with her on the fact that I don't want to be talking about this big rift between Vicki and Tamra anymore. I did not think this Vicki Tamra thing was going to go a whole season, but apparently it is. And by the way, this is a carryover from last season. Last season was all about the big cancer lie with Brooks. And what is this season? All about just trying to get Vicki and Tamra back together? That's not interesting enough to carry a whole season. The Brooks thing, Megan going into private detective mode, that was a good season. Last season was really good for OC. You gotta give me more, ladies, than trying to get two old friends back together. Tamra starts getting emotional and weepy, and somebody tells Vicki, oh, you should go talk to Tamra. She's crying in the other room. And Lydia is trying super hard to play matchmaker for these two. And as we already know, she's terrible at it. There's something that's bothering me a little bit about how this last scene played out. I felt like it was very anti-Shannon. And there's plenty of reason to be anti-Shannon, but I like Shannon. I still like Shannon. I don't like what's going on with Shannon's marriage, and I don't like how she talks to David. And to me, it's very clear as an outsider that she will probably be unable to forgive him for having an affair. She probably should have left, but apparently that's not my decision to make. So I do still like her a lot. And what's happening is she's trying to tell Tamra to be strong. It's coming off like she's jealous and she doesn't want Vicki and Tamra to become besties again, because then that would leave her out in the cold. I could be wrong. And maybe it's just because I do like Shannon, but I don't think that's what's going on with her. I think the two of them have been so burned by Vicki that they said to each other, we're not doing this again. And now Tamra's being wishy-washy, or Tamra wants some attention, I don't know. And Shannon is stronger about it. And Shannon's saying, no way. Just come on, be strong. And I don't think it's because she's jealous. And I don't think it's because she doesn't want them to be friends. I could be wrong. Meanwhile, on the other side of the room, Kelly is talking to Vicki and trying to work her and get her to agree to go talk to Tamra. Kelly ends up saying, "What? You guys come down to my bedroom, you guys can talk alone." But Vicki doesn't want Kelly to leave. Kelly's actually trying to walk out of the room to let the two of them be alone, and Vicki grabs her arm and says, "No, you stay here because you were there. You know that I didn't purposely get Ricky to talk crap about her. So because Vicki wants Kelly to be a witness to all that, Kelly ends up staying in the room. Meanwhile, upstairs, Shannon, Peggy, and Lydia are in the kitchen. Shannon is telling the two of them how terrible Vicki's been and how things she's said, and you know, now she's doing it to Tamra. What she did to me last year, now she's doing it to Tamra, and Tamra's marriage and all that kind of thing. And then they get quiet because they hear yelling. They hear Vicki yelling. So now Shannon says, I'm not going to leave her alone. They're ganging up on her. It's 2 against 1. I'm going down there. And Peggy and Lydia are trying to stop Shannon from going downstairs. But she cannot be stopped. She's Supergirl friend. So now we've got Kelly and Vicki standing on one side of the bed and Tamra and Shannon on the other side. And it's really mostly Shannon now who's getting very vocal in defense of her friend, Tamra. And Shannon goes, I'm not going to stand upstairs while you're down here screaming at my friend, so I'm going to defend her. And then real quiet, Vicki goes, she's my friend too, Shannon. And both Tamra and Shannon go, oh my God, please. Vicki, really? After you just said for 3 years she's been trying to destroy your life, she's my friend too. Peggy and Shannon and their husbands and Michael were all upstairs talking. I can't remember what. Lydia was saying something stupid, I'm sure. And then she decides she's going to go down there now. After telling Shannon not to get involved, Lydia's going to go down there. Yes, because Lydia, you're going to make it all better, aren't you? So Lydia goes off and Deco says, well, don't leave my wife alone. And Peggy's sitting there and she goes, how about I make my own decisions? And Deco's like, oh, okay, babe, okay. And then she just about 3 seconds pass and she goes, I'm going to go down there. Okay, Peggy. So now back upstairs, Shannon is comforting Tamra, and Lydia walks over and says, are you okay? Shannon, of course, answers for Tamra. She's fine. She's fine. Lydia's like trying to say that, there was just so much yelling. It was kind of like everybody yelling at each other. And Tamra goes, I didn't yell. And this is what Lydia does this all the time. She spreads blame among everybody to make it seem like, oh, hey, you know what? Everyone's to blame. Just get along. But don't do that if it's not true, Lydia. Tamra didn't raise her voice. The other ladies, minus Vicki, who went home, are sitting at the table, and I don't know what, something was said, and Shannon was whispering under her breath to, I think, Kelly. And they were kind of laughing. And yeah, it was a little Mean Girls-ish. And Peggy says, what? I didn't hear what you said, Shannon. What were you saying? I couldn't hear when your hand was up like that. And then to the confession cam, Peggy says, it reminded her of 4th grade. Let me whip out my notebook and take more notes, because where were you in 4th grade, Peggy? Here in America? You seem to know what the mean girl concept is, right? I am gathering more information about you, Peggy. So now Kelly brings out the cast of her boobs, and she wants her friends to sign them. I don't know why. Again, I didn't even understand what the whole party was about. And they're talking about boobs and stuff, and Tamra's sitting next to Lydia, and she says, your boobs are real, right? And she's like, At the same time that's being talked about, Shannon is kind of confronting Peggy about, what did you mean when you said I'm something else? So Lydia is saying that, we're going to be going soon, so why don't you cut your cake? Shannon makes this comment to Lydia and says, you and me, babe, we're the only ones that haven't gone under the knife. And Lydia says, oh, I have. I've had a boob job. And Shannon goes, really? And Lydia goes, yeah, you know that. You were making fun of me earlier. And Shannon's like, what? And Lydia goes, you know that. You guys were hitting each other under the table, making a joke about it. And Shannon's like, I swear to you, I was not. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter. This is what drives me crazy. Lydia was like gaslighting her. Shannon could tell that Lydia didn't believe her. So she goes, wait, come here, wait. And she's got her hands on her shoulders and she says, listen, may God strike me dead right now. I did not. And Lydia says, I don't need you to say that. I mean, you're being so weird right now. She's not being weird. She's frustrated. I hated the way Lydia played that. And Lydia thinks she can do no wrong. And Lydia, admit that you might have been mistaken. And as we know, Lydia doesn't like Shannon. And that's okay. As the lady said, not everybody has to like everybody else. But be self-aware enough to know that you could possibly have been predisposed to thinking she was saying something mean about you because you don't like her to begin with. And when you found out that she didn't, it doesn't mean you have to like her now. You just have to accept that you were wrong about her making fun of you having a boob job. But instead of that, Lydia's like, I'm done with you. So Shannon's very upset. She goes off into the kitchen and she's like, Tamra, can you come here? I need to talk to you. And Tamra's just like so busy eating the boob cake that she like won't even bother. And then it turns into this whole big thing where Lydia's getting all melodramatic and she's like falls down on the stairs and she's like, oh my God, Shannon, does everything have to be about you? And what? Oh my God, can I just leave, please, Shannon? Can I? And finally, Kelly says she wasn't saying anything about you. She was squeezing legs under the table about Peggy, which she already said it was about Peggy. And Peggy's just standing on the staircase eating cake, kind of like, well, yeah, it was about me. Meanwhile, Tamra is like even further down the stairs, just like, oh my God, staying out of it. I am channeling Shannon's frustration so much right now in this whole scene. It's just unbelievable to me that like nobody gets that Lydia is the instigator of this whole thing. So only after Lydia finally leaves and the two of them sort of kind of made up, Tamra comes up the stairs and Shannon and Kelly are standing there like, oh, there you are. I was calling you over. And she's like, well, I just thought you were talking about boobs. I thought you had it handled. Shannon said, I was calling you over and you didn't even come. And Tamra like freezes and then she goes, I mean, I honestly thought you had this. You know, God strike me dead. Hashtag Team Dodd right here. Because Kelly said you should have had her back because she had your back earlier with Vicki. And she's right. Who would have thought? Words of wisdom out of Kelly Dodd. But it's true. Tamra definitely not as good a friend to Shannon as Shannon is to Tamra. So that's how this episode ends. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Central Time for my next recap of The Real Housewives of Orange County. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so, and please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Thank you so much. Till next time, bye.